Welcome to episode 9 of Chats. Today we have yet another special themed episode in time for the holidays of New Year's resolutions. I'm Corbin.
I'm Sarah.
And we have just awoken from New Year's Eve.
No. I've been awake for a while.
We've both been sleeping beauties.
No, you just woke up.
Oh, okay. I slept in quite a bit.
And we're recording this. What time is it?
Almost 12 hours from New Year's.
We've got our first 12 hours in of 2020.
And I loved every single second of them.
Because you were sleeping.
Yes.
We had a good night last night.
It was good.
We had some friends in.
Yeah. Started out.
Family.
I started a little sick, not feeling well.
Not feeling so good.
But you know what? Lots of friends and family were over. And, especially when it's the end of a decade, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a milestone.
But thankfully, I pushed through it, patting myself on the shoulder. But I actually felt better, as
the night went on.
As the night went on,
better, yeah.
So it worked out, and it was a great night.
What time did you go to bed?
It was around 3, and then I forgot to brush my teeth, and I was laying in bed, and I knew I forgot something when I went to bed, and then I got up at 3:30, brushed my teeth, and then I was out. So around 3:30.
And you woke up around 11.
Yes.
So that's actually a decent night's sleep.
Yes.
So there's no excuse.
No
on
shame
your part.
in that.
No shame in that. So yeah, we decided that we'd take on resolutions. It seems like a fairly obvious topic for this time of year. And, Corbin would like to apologize to everyone who thought we would have this recorded before New Year's Eve, as he did overestimate his own personal social schedule. But anyway, so we've got some information. Do you want to start with your stuff, or do you want me to start with mine?
I'll start with mine just because I have the history of it all.
Oh,
because
perfect.
Everyone likes to talk about New Year's resolutions. But no one likes to...
Like, how did it start?
Yeah, no one really talks about how it started.
And once again, I'm drinking throughout this podcast, so ignore the clunking of ice cubes. And it's not booze.
No. I hope not. So, the history of New Year's goes back a long time to the ancient Babylonians. And they've been said to be the first people to make resolutions. Is around 4,000 years ago. So, quite a while. And they were the first people to even celebrate New Year's.
Okay.
So it makes sense that they would do New Year's resolutions.
At that time.
And the other thing about this that's a fun fact that I didn't know, is that it started, their year started in March, not in January, because of the crops.
Oh, they went on like a planting cycle rather than a lunar cycle.
Yeah. So that was a very interesting tidbit of information I didn't know. And the reason why a lot of people would be saying, well, why 4,000 years ago were the ancient Babylonians, doing New Year's and celebrating it and having New Year's resolutions? Well, people say that it's because, this is from the History Channel on TV.
Oh, yeah.
This is their website.
Oh, that's good to reference.
Yes.
Yes.
And so they say that, nowadays we celebrate by friends and family getting together. We have a little bit more time. They were very time restricted with the crops, and
it was working.
It was more for work. And the reason why they did it was because that'd be their little celebration. Would be going around the table at Thanksgiving and saying, "I'm thankful for this or that." They would go around and say, "I'm going to try and do this year," or just something to entertain themselves. Goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
And that has translated from people from the ancient Babylonians saying, I'm going to, try and get out, a couple more fields of crops this year, to I'm going to go hit the gym for the third time, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
It is interesting. I didn't know it went back 4,000 years. Not a lot of things go back 4,000 years.
Yeah, I thought it was a more current, or more recent practice. I didn't realize it was that ancient.
No.
That's cool.
That's definitely, I forget the history of Christmas, which we might do an episode on sometime
history
in the
of
future.
Christmas, like Jesus?
Santa Claus, think about how...
the mythical portion
and the modern day version, the consumerism version of Christmas.
We'll save that for next year.
Well, but what I'm trying to say is, I would have thought that would be older than New Year's, but New Year's is 4,000 years ago. I don't think Santa can top that.
Yeah.
So
it's the more ancient ritual.
Yeah, we're keeping the audience listening for next Christmas, because that's
plan ahead, everyone.
Exactly.
Mark it on your calendar.
So you have the top 10.
Yes.
Best
or most common. The top 10 resolutions, and this is from Inc.com, and it was from actually a year ago from their January 1st, 2019 post.
Okay.
So this is it's pretty interesting. Some of it won't be too surprising, but I think the percentages are interesting. So 60% of people make resolutions, only 8% follow through.
Really?
Which I think when we talk about going to the gym, I think that's fairly self-evident, but of all resolutions, only 8% actually follow through. So we make a lot of hype about making resolutions, but obviously we're not really, putting our money where our mouth is. So, so the first one, actually, I'll go from 10 and work my way up.
A good thing to note is that maybe part of that 60%, they're making it on the night of New Year's Eve when they're at the party or whatever.
Yeah, when they're tired or under the influence and maybe not making, they've gone ahead and made it while they were less than clear-minded. So, okay, so well, that's not what I was looking for. Just hang on a second. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the top 10. We'll start with number 10. So the 10th most common resolution is spending more time with family and friends. 13% of resolution makers pick that one. Number 9 is drink less alcohol.
That's a good one as well.
Which is interesting if you figure that you make it on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And that's 15% of people have made that resolution. Number 8 is find another job, which is 16%. Number 7, this one was kind of odd, read more.
Well, that's been something I've been trying to do last year in 2019, just read more, but I don't. That's
an
interesting
one, yeah. So that's 17% of people have made that resolution. Number 6, I thought this would be higher, quit smoking.
And 21%.
21% of people have said that they would quit smoking. I'd like to see how many people were successful with a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a listener and you or someone you know has quit smoking as a New Year's resolution, let us know if you were successful doing that. And that's tough. Like, I'm not a smoker myself. No one in the house smokes. No. But I do know people that have struggled for years with that addiction, and it's so hard because it's not just an inconvenience as far as, I have to go stand out so many feet from a building. It's a very powerful addiction, and it's costly, and it can lead to some serious health conditions. And then just even the idea of, like, it's in your clothes, it's in your car, it's everywhere. Yeah. So, and if you are resolving to quit smoking, good for you.
Yes, keep going.
Keep going. Check in and let us know how you're doing, and good on you for doing that. It's a good, and even if you don't succeed, that's what they say is you don't often succeed the first time with smoking. It takes multiple attempts to quit.
Yes,
keep with it.
There was a good trailer or a commercial a while ago. I think it was just like a PSA type thing, where it was like fail again, like keep failing. Yeah, because one of those times you're gonna succeed.
You will succeed. And it's true, and it's worthwhile. So keep going and keep trying.
6.
That was number 6 at 21% with quit smoking. Number 5 is learn a new skill or a hobby at 26%. That's a pretty interesting one. I never looked at resolutions in that way of I'm going to acquire a skill or a hobby or something like that.
Usually you're looking to get rid of a skill.
A negative, yeah.
But that's a good way to look at a positive skill, and that's keeping it very open. Because a lot of New Year's resolutions, as we might go on in the list or talk about, they're very not narrow-minded, but they're very narrow in what they say. Very specific, and that sets people up for failure a lot of the time.
Well, and that point's actually going to tie into something I'm going to talk about after my list. Okay. But I agree with you that positivity of acquiring a new skill or a hobby, I think that's a much more plausible and likely more successful outcome.
Of course.
To do it that way. Okay, so the next one, number 4, is save more and spend less at 32%.
Wouldn't we all?
Wouldn't we all? So a lot of us have good intentions, but obviously don't follow through.
It's probably after the holidays, buying gifts, buying food, all that traveling maybe.
It's like we gotta lock things down.
You gotta lock things down for January.
Yeah. Number 3 is 54% of people have said that they want to lose weight, which I think is that's the ones that I think we're thinking of more and more as a traditional
That's
New Year's
54%.
54% of people have made that resolution. Number 2 at 65% is exercise more. And you are an avid gym goer yourself. How busy has it been at the gym the last couple times you've been there?
It's a smaller gym, but it's getting slowly busier and busier. When I was there,
Like October, November?
November, maybe one regular every time I'm in, but now it's more and more people are there
Over the holidays?
over the holidays.
Yeah.
Maybe the visiting family. Or I think some of them are students, like from college and stuff coming
Right.
back. But it'll be interesting to see going forward because I'll probably go today at some point, and.
See, I don't think today's going to be the tell.
It won't be busy today.
No,
but
it'll be quiet today.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys an update on how busy the gym is.
Okay. So exercise more, 65%. And then the number one at 71% of people have made this resolution, which is funny. Diet or eat healthier.
Yeah. The top 3 are all fitness
Or health related.
Health related.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting because I know we're going to do a podcast about health and fitness, in the coming weeks. But for me, I made a significant redirection in my health and fitness or health and diet about a year ago. It was like around the 20th of January. So it's interesting that I didn't make it as a resolution.
No.
It didn't line up with that. It's not as predictable as that.
And
so for me, it was more of a case of in the wintertime I was feeling crappy and I had the time to look into doing things to make some changes.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for another time.
And you're probably going to get into this because you have everything prepared in front of you. But the thing is that we've, in the modern era, like 2020 and now, I guess, we've come so known and self-aware that New Year's resolutions most of the time don't work. As you said, the percentages don't lie. 8% follow through with it. So this other percent, people already know, it's not going to work out and it's not going to happen. And I think that even if you genuinely want to change and you really want to change and get better and you make a resolution, there's a part of your head that's saying, only 8% follow through. It's okay if I fail.
Yeah.
Everyone else does.
You give yourself that side exit.
Yes.
So you're not as committed necessarily.
Yeah. I'll probably say this again in the podcast, but I'll say it now in case I forget. But I would not make New Year's resolutions. I would just start from where, whatever time you're at, if it happens to be on New Year's Day where you have that revelation to yourself.
Yeah. Or if it's the 21st of January.
If it's 21st of January, or for me, if it's in the middle of May, just go do it, Don't close down. I know a person, or knew a person that had a New Year's resolution or wanted to change something about themselves, but we're going to wait till New Year's to make a big deal out of it. It's like,
that's silly.
That's silly. You should do it now,
Yeah.
If your heart says to do it now, do it now, You're going to be more inspired to do it now than you are in a couple months in January when you're going to...
Well, and sometimes, and I know we've talked already about, you've had some real challenges in 2019. Sometimes a dramatic change, as we said before, there are good changes, but committing yourself to a dramatic change can help move you out of a negative situation. It can actually be the impetus to redirect in a positive way and move you away from something you're struggling with. So, again, we're kind of getting into the weeds on that. But so to wrap up the list there that I had from Inc.com, thank you very much for that information.
Yes. And thank you, History.com.
And History.com. Some of the final points about resolutions here is saving money is one of the top 5 New Year's resolutions and also in the top 5 for the most commonly failed. Now, I didn't dig up the most commonly failed resolutions. I felt that was a little negative, but it is interesting that saving money is in the top 5 of unsuccessful resolutions.
Yeah.
And then more than half of respondents said they failed their resolution before January 31st.
They give up.
Exactly what we just said, that if you're doing it because you think it's a New Year's, like it has to be New Year's, then you're not necessarily doing it for the right reasons anyway.
What was the percentage on that again? Sorry?
More than half of respondents. So we don't know how many people that is, but it's a considerable number of people who responded to this survey.
And I'd put money that the rest of the people make it end of February. I wouldn't, it's very...
Wouldn't go a full year.
No.
Yeah.
It's very much... and that's the thing, is that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah. And then the final point here from Inc.com is women make health-focused resolutions while men tend to pledge to find a new job and lay off the alcohol. That's health related too. But yeah, so that's an interesting take on that. But the one thing I wanted to kind of delve into, which is kind of related but in a different manner with resolutions, is I personally don't do resolutions.
No.
I don't think you've been a fan of that either.
No, I did it when I was a kid as like a jokey thing.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't anything
It's a novelty.
serious.
Yeah. So for what I see now with people who are trying to commit to a change or looking to improve their life, what I'm seeing is an increase in a concept called vision boards. So that's where you actually you create like a collage, and you take like images, either you print them off or you get them from magazines, and you take these pieces and you compile them together, maybe inspirational words or motivational, something that would put you in the right mindset or the right direction for what you're trying to do. A friend of mine who did this swears by them to the point that she tried to give me a board that she actually bought two boards to do this. Like, it's just Coroplast or something light. And she says, you've got to do this. It is amazing, and it's so powerful. And when it works, it's just you wish you'd done it sooner.
It's a visual representation and a reminder, but also it's almost like a trophy when you do succeed at it, right?
Well, and the idea is that it's to keep you focused on, we'll say, for example, it's saving money.
Yes.
We'll use that since that's one that's a higher resolution.
And a higher fail rate.
So maybe you'll do things like you'll post a picture of a beach because you want to save money because you want to go on a trip. Yeah. Or maybe it'll be a specific article of clothing or a handbag or jewelry that you're saving up for. A car, anything like that. So you'll put those on there as well. And then, maybe there'll be a word like savings or money or things like that. And so the idea is that if you focus on these images, it helps you keep on track, and you actually attract. And I know some people are going to go, oh boy, here goes Sarah with the hoo-hoo stuff. If you don't believe in the law of attraction or that the universe provides you what you seek, this isn't going to make a lot of sense to you. I've personally had these experiences, so for me, I get it. It works. If you don't, just sit tight. We're going to get something in a minute that'll interest you. But
it's very much get what you give.
Exactly.
And I believe in that.
And keep focused on that, and keep your eye on the prize. And
you get distracted. And
like I say, a friend of mine who did this, she said she could go through and literally see herself achieving the goals. And for her, it wasn't as specific as money. It was more, she was looking to do a type of lifestyle overhaul. She wanted more health. She wanted more time with her family, better health, more time with her family. Everybody wants more financial stability or an improved financial situation. She included that. And she was just able to communicate this on the board, and then she could see that systematically happen to her throughout the year. Anyway.
Interesting.
So that I think is an interesting. I've not done one. I'm toying with the idea of doing one because I think, at worst, you're doing arts and crafts.
I was just going to say, there's not, and that's not even a negative. Arts and crafts are fun.
And at best, you could completely redirect your life and have an amazing outcome.
Of course.
So it's something worth thinking about.
Now, did your friend do this? What time of year was this? New Year's?
It was not a New Year's. No,
Okay.
I believe it was. And she'll probably kick me for. Anyway, it was not New Year's. I know that. Okay. And she swears by it. She still has it. She says she hasn't accomplished everything on her vision board because it's not finite as far as it's a calendar month or a year or whatever. But she was able, from the time she made it until when we spoke about this back in the summertime. She was like, I cannot believe how well this has worked. So this obviously could be a better option for some people than the resolution.
And that goes back to New Year's resolutions most of the time they're too hard on themselves, or they're too specific. Mm-hmm. People want to have like a time limit, like this time next year.
Well, they want instant gratification.
Exactly.
Right? And that's why I think you see so many people abandoning the concept within the first month is, well, it's not working right now. It's like, well, no, but it may work. Yeah. Look at weight loss. That doesn't happen overnight. No. That is sustainable over time and consistent. Yeah. So if you're not willing to put that effort in, but again, we'll leave this for another time. So that's why I think people get frustrated faster. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I wanted to suggest, and this is something that is new to me, is a New Year's list. So it's not resolutions.
No, it's a list.
It's goals and objectives, things that you want to accomplish or things that you want to... I mean, I guess if you wanted to argue, someone could say, well, I feel like that's a New Year's resolution. Well, it's not that you're holding yourself that, I want to lose weight or I'm going to save money. It was things like, for example, the other day, and I know you're going to love this. I haven't even told you this. But,
oh, gosh.
I have a number of... My background is writing.
Yes.
I have a number of stories, books, started. I have committed that I will finish one of those stories this year. That's not a resolution.
No.
That's just... At some point, I want to make sure I do that. It's more specific than saying, oh, in the broad scheme of things, I want to save money.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm going to set... It's goal setting.
Yes.
It's goal setting.
And
that's what I'm trying to say.
that goes all the way back to school. In high school, they talk about goal setting.
Yeah.
It needs to be achievable. You need to have some specifics, but don't make it too narrow.
Yeah.
And it needs to be something that you're motivated for.
Yeah.
And that's all those things for you. And I am excited because I know how passionate you are about writing, and I sometimes get to read a bit of it, and it's exciting, And it's not even a new year; it's a new decade.
Yeah.
It's a brand new field. So
yeah, lots of potential there.
Lots of potential.
So with the list, this is something I've done before.
Yeah.
There were other things, and it's almost like putting your house in order to say, for example, it's like, okay, we want to look at replacing a vehicle this year, and we want to make sure that we get more time to do these things that we feel we didn't give enough time to. So again, it's not necessarily structured as a resolution. It's more like, okay, if we could be living our ideal situation, our ideal life, these are the things that we would be making more space for in our lives. So, having more date nights, actually that came up that, your dad and I would make a point of going out and doing things. And we've gotten a little better with that because for a while we just freaking, oh my God, it was just work and go to bed and work and go to bed.
And it's circumstances, but it's good to have that in the back of your mind when things do get busy and a little...
It's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. It's been a while. We need to go do something. Yeah. And another thing that was part of, and it doesn't seem like a big thing. It doesn't have to be big things. Like as long as it makes a change for you. I work full time.
Yeah.
My hours are kind of nutty, and I enjoy cooking. But for me, it was really hard to make sure that there was always food every single day. And by the end of the week, I would be exhausted. So Friday night, the last thing I'd want to do is start whipping up dinner. Yeah. So without being a formalized agreement type thing, it's kind of like Friday nights, we try to bring something in. Yeah. And some people might say, well, that's not really a big deal. It was a big deal in our house. Yeah. We don't order in really at all very often. So we've tried to do that or go out. We'll go out and grab a bite. And it was a case of, oh yeah, you know what? That makes good sense. It's something that it'll take a little pressure off. It's not that expensive to do it once a week or once every other week, depending on the schedule and the finances. And it made a big difference for me. So that's something that, you can look at that and say, again, how do I get into an ideal situation for me? Well, I could make this change and that would make a real difference. So again, if you want to argue that it's a resolution, I don't see it that way because again, I look at those, those top three as being resolutions, and I don't smoke, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, to make an overall improvement to how you live your life and what you want to be doing on a day-to-day basis.
Of course, so vision boards and New Year's lists.
Yeah.
But if you listeners have tried it or are currently doing it, or maybe want to try it, let us know. At
Chats Podcast
at
gmail.com, or you can go to our Facebook page and share with us online your experiences. I'd love to hear about people's vision boards. Like if you've done that, like what did you achieve? What were you able to realize through your vision board? I think that's a very cool concept.
Or what they're working towards, if they're finding it's going slower or faster than, say, a usual New Year's resolution that they would do, or
if you've done a resolution and it's not been successful, but now it's successful because of the vision board.
Yes, that'd be interesting.
Well, and you know what? With the New Year's list, I mean, we're calling it New Year's list because that's when it's that, that time when you flip the calendar and it's the time of year when it makes sense. But you've actually already done this. You made a list back in the fall when things were kind of all over the place to help focus you as far as what you want to do, what kind of life you want to live, what your goals and objectives are, and you still have it in your room.
I have it on my wall.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly what we're talking about.
And the thing is that I don't have it staring me in the face every day. You know, it's there. But when I need it, or days when, you know, I might forget and I'm like, what's that on my wall? It's always there as a reminder.
Yeah,
and
a gentle reminder.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
So, yeah, definitely let us know what you guys have going on with the vision board or New Year's resolution or New Year's lists. We'd love to hear it. And I will let you guys know next week or next time we upload about the gym, because I know that's what everyone's gripping on the edge of their seats for.
That's right. Well, and if there's a lot of new faces or how people feel about the gym, because I know I've heard in the past people who attend, like, are regular members of a gym, say they hate going to the gym in January because that's the newbies and all the interest is kind of renewed.
And you just have to be respectful to them, because everyone was a newbie at one point. Everyone makes mistakes at one point or another. But I'm not going to lie that if, you know, not at the public gym, but at the school gym I used to go to, it was a bit annoying when there was someone who didn't know what they were doing, horsing around. But
yeah, distracting.
Exactly.
So we want to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2020.
Yeah, January 1st, Happy New Year, or whenever you're listening to this after New Year's. Mm-hmm. Happy, you know, May 5th, whatever day it is. But, yeah, so this has been me, Corbin.
And Sarah.
And thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for our next chats.